Welcome to the next episode of GT Bharat's PolicyCast. As we endeavor into bring in latest tax, trade, and regulatory developments, today we are joined by Sourav Mitra, partner at Grant Thornton Bharat, to explore a topic that is quietly shaping several critical industries around the world: the global helium market amidst the geopolitical developments. Helium may not always make headlines, but it plays an indispensable role in sectors ranging from the healthcare and semiconductors to aerospace and advanced research. So, Saurav, let's start with the basics. Why is helium considered a strategic commodity?
Yeah, thanks, Shilpa. I think to understand the basic thing, I think helium is a non-renewable resource, and once it is released into the atmosphere, it escapes. It simply escapes the Earth's gravity and it is gone. So that scarcity dynamic combined with its criticality is what elevates helium to a genuine strategic commodity. Now, why it is important from an industrial perspective is that helium is one of the most irrepressible industrial gases on the planet, and it has some unique physical properties, which make it a very important and indispensable, across the sectors. We are talking about cooling the superconducting magnets inside every MRI machines, or we are talking about semiconductors where I think chip fabrication is possible. And without this, you cannot. I think your important microscopic circuits and the silicon wafers, everything is completely dependent upon this gas, which is helium. Now, if, for example, the rocket fuel tanks of ISRO and NASA, they are also purged with helium before they are launched. So what makes it truly strategic is this no substitute problem. Unlike oil, where you can switch to alternatives over time, currently there is no commercially viable replacement for helium in this critical applications. So either you have it or I think or the process stops. So that is what the highest dependability and criticality of helium comes into.
Understood. Because of the criticalities involved, which you just mentioned, helium is certainly a strategic commodity. Now,
Yes.
my next question to you is, can you give us a snapshot of how the global helium market is structured today? Who produces it, who consumes it, and what it's worth?
Right, Shilpa. So I think the global helium market is valued somewhere around close to USD 4.4 to 5 billion range, and that was in 2025. And it is expected to grow at a CAG of 4.5 to 5.5% till 2030. From the supply perspective, the market is highly concentrated in a handful of countries. So you have the United States, which is the largest formal producer, which accounts close to 46% of the global supply. Then you will have Qatar, which is the second largest producer, contributing roughly around 33 to 36% of the global output. And then you have the smaller players like Russia, Canada, and China also. So basically, it is where you have natural gas production or a shale gas production. Helium is a component which is normally found with those extraction of gases also. On the demand side, we all know that there is a huge demand from the semiconductors and electronics and healthcare. So these are some of the major consumer segments for helium. Given the explosion in advanced chip manufacturing for AI, with the impetus of AI which has happened, and so many companies coming out and the dependence of AI across all the sectors, helium demand from semiconductors is set to rise rapidly, multifold. Now, what's important to understand from a market structure standpoint is because helium is largely extracted as a byproduct of natural gas processing, you cannot simply produce more when demand spikes. So it is completely dependent upon your natural gas extraction, which happens, which is a byproduct helium. Supply is practically inelastic. Now, that makes price shocks both severe and rapid. When something disrupts even one, in case you have a disruption in the natural gas or a LNG, you will definitely have a shock in the helium prices also. So this is how the market is structured.
Well, with this snapshot, timely corrective steps could only ensure an uninterrupted supply chain. So, Qatar has emerged as a central player in global helium supply. What has driven that rise, and why is its geographic position a double edged sword?
Right. I think Qatar's rise as a helium powerhouse is directly to its enormous natural gas reserves. I think Qatar sits with one of those largest natural gas resources which they have, and it exports through their company which is called as Qatar Energy, where helium recovery also became a natural and a highly profitable byproduct. So Qatar went from producing around close to 25 million cubic meter of helium in early in 2013, and as currently in 2023 it was 66. Recently, what we put the numbers were in 2025 prior to the attack, it was close to around 82 million cubic meters of production that was happening. Today, Qatar Gas operates 3 helium production facilities with a combined throughput capacity of close to, as I said, 73 million metric per annum. That makes your Ras Laffan one of the most significant helium production and exports hubs on the planet. But here is the structure, the strategic vulnerability. Everything leaves Qatar through the Strait of Hormuz. So every container of liquid helium passes through this choke point, connecting the Persian Gulf to global sea lanes. So Qatar's natural advantage, sitting atop massive reserves, is simultaneously its greatest liability also. Concentrate one-third of the world's supply as an irreplaceable gas in a single corridor, and you have created a structural risk that most supply chain managers have historically underestimated. So I think this is how I would say that while Qatar has that opportunity and that massive production scales, but I think its dependence upon the route is something which makes it sit on a double-edged sword.
Okay, so let's hope that this West Asia conflict ends soon to resolve the challenges that lie ahead.
Right.
This West Asia conflict has brought helium into the spotlight. Can you also walk us through what exactly happened and what are the immediate market impact which could be?
Right. So what happened that Iran in early 2026, attacked Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city. So these attacks completely, there are certain, what happens in the production, there are different trains through which I think the trains number are 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is all are numerically numbered, and each there are different companies within Qatar either as a JV company or a foreign investor might have invested into it, and they're into production of liquid natural gas. So I think with these attacks, all these operations came to a halt. And since helium is produced as a byproduct of that gas processing, with your gas processing plants of Qatar coming to a halt, helium production effectively also stopped overnight. Now, Qatar was supplying approximately 5.2 million, I think, metric cube of helium per month to global market. That was the scale that they were working into. With that stoppage immediately, I think there were, and simultaneously with the Iranian pressure on the Strait of Hormuz, this disrupted the entire shipping corridor, creating a double problem. So you have no production, and then there is a restriction in your shipping movement of your existing inventories also. So the market responded instantly and violently. Spot helium prices surged 70 to 100%. Just within a week's time, I think helium prices saw 100% rise. And then according to, I think when you speak to major entities like Air Liquide, who is one of the world's largest helium distributors, they have warned customers that if it may not be able to fulfill existing orders, some long-term contracts have reportedly, I think nearly tripled compared to what pre-pricing levels were. So there is an additional complication that makes this particularly serious. Helium cannot be stored indefinitely. As I said, it evaporates during storage and must reach end users within approximately 45 to 50 days is what the window is where you need to use the helium gas. So unlike oil, where you can draw down strategic reserves for months, the helium clock is ticking in real time. So you have to fairly certain that in a few weeks out, the shortage should hit hard. While the war has paused when there is a 14 days breakage, I believe helium market still will go with that kind of pressure because the Qatar's Ras Laffan, they have been badly hit. They will take at least not less than 6 to 8 months to again revive their plant and start production of LNG. So you could at least see that 2026 will be a year where your helium prices will be always accelerated on a higher pedestal, and there will be always a crunch between supply and demand.
This is quite serious, Saurav. Hope the countries involved in the West Asia conflict resolve their differences soon to avoid a situation where helium becomes a scarce commodity. So, stepping back to the big picture, what does the helium supply crisis tell us about the future of resource geopolitics, and where does India stand in this evolving landscape?
Right. So, Shilpa, I think the helium crisis is much larger pattern that is reshaping global energy and industrial strategy. It is the weaponization of geography, you could say. We have spent decades building global supply chains optimized entirely for cost efficiency, assuming that geopolitical stability was a constant. Now, West Asia is now demonstrating very forcefully that this is not the case. I think strategies need to be again lead on. And whether it is a rare earth minerals which is concentrated in China, the semiconductor manufacturing which is concentrated in Taiwan, or the helium which is concentrated in Qatar and routed through Hormuz, the structural vulnerability is the same. So I think the critical industrial insights concentrated in geographically political geographies, flowing through choke points that can be disrupted by state or non-state actors. The West Asia conflict is the latest, but almost certainly not the last demonstration of this risk. When we speak of India, we are definitely 100% import dependent for helium, and 50% of our supply comes from Qatar only, as do the natural gas, your LNG also. So we are looking at a significant concern here. As India scales its semiconductor manufacturing ambitions through the India Semiconductor Mission and the PLI schemes, its helium requirement will grow substantially. So proactively building strategic stockpiles and securing long-term supply agreements now, while the market is being restructured, is a significant opportunity. Even in the existing context, there are concerns for the healthcare sector also in India, particularly the MRIs where helium is predominantly used. So the deeper insights for India's energy sector is that resource security is no longer just about oil and gas. It encompasses the full spectrum of critical industrial inputs. Countries and companies that build resilient, diversified, and strategically managed supply chains for these inputs will have a durable competitive advantage. Those that don't will find themselves scrambling to manage a crisis that was entirely predictable. So I think this is how I would say this is the big picture that we could see with this disruption in helium supply conflicts along with natural gas and LNG.
Thank you so much, Saurav, for explaining us the helium supply crisis amidst the geopolitical scenario. That brings us to the end of today's conversation. We explored why helium is far more than just a niche industrial gas, how concentrated global supply and geopolitical tensions in West Asia have exposed critical sensitivities, and what the ongoing disruption means for industries ranging from healthcare to semiconductors, especially for an import-dependent country like India. A big thank you to Sourav Mitra for sharing those sharp insights and helping us unpack the strategic, economic, and geopolitical dimensions of the global helium market. Coming soon is our next episode with more expert conversations on tax policy, geopolitics, and critical resources shaping the global economy. Thanks for tuning into the PolicyCast series.